Hello and welcome back to another guide for Botania. Today we'll be going over red string, some of the different blocks you can make, as well as luminizers. So without further ado, let's just hop right into it. Red string is a crafting material that can be used to link blocks together. To craft it, you need one string, one block of redstone, an ender air bottle, and a pixie dust. You can also add a pumpkin to the recipe. Even though looking it up, I can't really see why you would add a pumpkin to the recipe, but again, both work in base Botania. The red string can be used to craft different types of blocks. Each of them have their own properties for what they do and also what they connect to. But each of them have an 8 block range and can work through solid blocks. The red string container binds the blocks that can hold items. To craft it, you need 7 living rock, 1 chest, and 1 red string. When placed down, this red dot side will connect to a chest, hopper, furnace, or something that has an inventory connected to it, and any items that get inserted into here will be transferred to that item. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm over here in the forge. I have a blast furnace, a hopper, and then my redstone container. Now if I take my wand of the forest, you can see through the wall that there is a block lit up. Now if I go inside, you'll see it's a chest. And you can see right behind it, going through the blocks, this red string. That showing you that if you're holding the wand in the forest and there are no blocks in the way, what it's connected to. But also if you hover over it, you can see it as well. Now that this has been going for a while, you can see that I've been smelting gold, going into the hopper, and then going into the container. Now if I check my chest, you can see there is gold. And if we wait a moment, there'll be another one placed in. So this is a nice way for being able to transport items from one way to another, not having to have complicated pipes go all over the place, if they only have to go a few blocks like I have here. The red string dispenser binds to droppers and dispensers. To craft it, you need 7 living rock, a dispenser, and a red string. Let me show you how this works. So we're at this little house. We have a dispenser here along with a water bucket. So if I go upstairs, you can see I have a red string dispenser right here with a button on it. Now this will work similar to a red stringed container, that if I have a hopper or something feeding into here, items will transfer from this red stringed block to the dispenser or dropper. And if I take out my wand in the forest, go at an angle, you can see that they are connected. The other nice thing about this is that it can also transfer redstone signals. Now if I press this button and look outside my window, you can see the water flowing out. If I press it again, it deactivates and the water will go away. So this is a nice way of being able to activate dispensers and droppers without having lines of redstone, as long as they are within the 8 block range. The red stringed interceptor binds to blocks and it emits a redstone signal. To craft it, you need 7 living rock, a button, and a red string. Let me show you how this works. So over here we got a furnace, we have our red string interceptor, redstone, piston, and an iron block. Let me take the iron block, and as you can see, the interceptor is connected to the furnace. Now if I activate the furnace, you can see, well, it's empty. And that's because, well, it emitted a redstone signal to push the iron block, as you can see. Break that and place it down, and let me give you a better view. So if I stand over here, you'll be able to see at the top of the screen the iron block move. Because when I open the inventory for the furnace, the interceptor intercepts it, emits a redstone signal, pushes the piston and the iron block. So now if I want to go into my inventory, let's grab a chest. And see, this is a normal chest, not a trapped one. Whoops. So if I want to, I can be like, okay, let me open this chest to grab some of my deposit some of my items. I can throw my iron sword, furnace. Let's just throw everything in here. But you can see the iron block moved. So if you want to play some pranks on your friends, you can have this set up so whenever they open their chest, redstone gets activated. Maybe make some noise, turn on some note blocks. Who knows? It's up to whatever you want to do. Or if you want to have such as a door activate or something similar to that, this works the same way. All this block does is emits a redstone signal when its connected block gets interacted with. The red string Nutrifier binds to grow crops. And to craft it, you need 7 living rock, a floral fertilizer, and a red string. Let me show you how this works. So we're over here by my crop, by this little crop field I have. I got some potatoes growing. I got my Nutrifier, and you can see it is bound to the block right next to it. The way this works is, let's say I'm inside here and I kind of want to grow some of my potatoes. I can take bone meal, and when I right click the Nutrifier, you can see the bone meal gets applied to the potatoes outside. So I'll go, let's say I harvest it, and you can see that now it is now bound to this one. Again, same thing, I'll just go bone meal, and now it is fully grown. You can use this in a number of different ways, but again, it will have to be lined up with the crop itself and not the dirt underneath it. The red Stringed Comparator binds the blocks that can be read by a comparator. And to craft it, you need 7 living rock, a redstone comparator, and a red string. Let me show you how this works. So we have over here at this little setup, I have a dropper here, redstone comparator, a red stringed comparator, a redstone comparator, with redstone going to a piston and an iron block. So currently you can see that the red dot isn't lined up with my dropper here, and if I go into the inventory, it is completely full with different types of terracotta. This means that this will give off the strongest redstone signal it can produce. So if I shift right click to rotate this, it activates and boop, pushes out the iron block. Now if I remove all of the clay or terracotta, you can see it is still bound, but since it's empty, no redstone signal. Now, for a comparator to work, it needs at least 9 in here, and you can see it gives off a weak redstone signal. Now if I just drop these in my inventory, I'll go boop boop. Just build it out a little bit more to show you that with only 9 in here, it's giving off the weakest of a single redstone signal. But again, this is basically taking, instead of having a comparator attached to this dropper, you can have an 8 block space in between going through walls to be able to power your comparator. So if you want big redstone complicated machines or just doors or whatever, but you don't want to have it right behind it, this is a nice way to just transfer the signal so you can hide it a little bit better. The red Stringed Spoofer binds to flowers or mushrooms and transfers their powers. To craft it, you need 7 living rock, a mana spreader, and a red string. Let me show you how this works. So as you can see in front of me, I have a rose bush and a chest. And you know what? Let me just start dumping stuff out. Let's see, I don't need the concrete. I don't need the redstone ore. That, I don't need that. Let's just start getting rid of all this stuff. And as you see, all of it is disappearing. That's because it's going into the chest. Because I've been able to make this rose bush into a hopper hawk. How did I do that? It's simple. With the red Stringed Spoofer. If I take out my wand in the forest, you can see the red string connecting from the block to my rose bush. And the hopper hawk on top is able to transfer its powers to the rose bush. Now, if I toss items over here, it won't work because this hopper hawk has been deactivated and it transfers to the bush. This works for any mana generating as well as functional flowers, but any of the associated stuff will have to be next to this flower, such as this chest I have has to be next to it. If I have such as an endoflame, the mana spreaders will have to be next to that flower. If you have functional flowers that require mana, mana actually has to be applied to the flower on top of the spoofer. So if I take this mana pool, place it down, and you can see it is bound. And now the hopper hawk has increased range and speed transferred to the flower. And like I said, this will for any functional flower, the one on top of the spoofer needs to be powered. The Luminizer is a way to transport players, creatures, and items. To craft it, you need 1 red string, 1 dragonstone, and 2 glowstone. So if we take it off the wall, place it down, and link it to my other Luminizer up here, you can see a path is created, and a little ribbon of magic will go from one to the other. These don't use mana, but they're a nice way to move around your base, and they kind of look nice. You can set up these in a string, so if I right click this one, I travel along a road of all of these Luminizers going all the way over here to my Munch Do. Now these can go in almost any direction, they don't have to just be straight, but they are only really usable one way. I can link these to go back the other way, but through my testing I've discovered that it will forget the previous ones, so it would just be stuck going back the other way. So to get back, you would have to have another set of Luminizers to go around, or what you could do is kind of set up like a circle, because let me get on the one over here. Let's say I want to stop at, this is my stop. If I hold left shift, it drops me. So if I go back further, and decide I want to stop here, left shift, and then I fall. There are different types of Luminizers, and the first one we'll go over is the Detector Luminizer. Now when you pass through it, this will emit a redstone signal. And this is made with a Luminizer and a redstone dust. Now this can be connected to just a normal string, and you see that they will turn red unlike the normal blue. One thing to note is that these work like normal Luminizers. You can use these at the beginning of a chain, middle of a chain as I have here, or at the end. And the only difference is that they'll emit a redstone signal. So if I enter my first one here, goes off, piston, done. Like I said, works totally normal, except it sets off redstone signal. So if you have some doors you want to travel through or anything similar to that, it will work just fine. The Toggle Luminizer will drop people or items if it gets a redstone signal. To craft it, you need a Luminizer and a lever. And like I said, if this receives a redstone signal, it will drop whatever it is on its path. So as you can see, I have a Luminizer here. I have the Toggle Luminizer up there with a redstone torch right next to it. So if I travel through it, it will... let me try this again. And no. So through testing every single way I could think of to get a redstone signal to this, it just doesn't seem to have it. It's just not having fun with it. So as you can see here, since I have a single piece of redstone here, it connects to my Detector Luminizer. But if I place a piece of redstone up here, it won't connect to my Toggle Luminizer. Even if I try to place it underneath it, it still won't accept. So even though this is supposed to drop an item when it receives a redstone signal, well, it doesn't receive a redstone signal even if I place a redstone block attached to it. I'm not sure if I'm just doing something wrong or something. If anyone knows, please let me know so I can correct this for everyone else. The Fork Luminizer changes its path and will be crafted with a Luminizer and a redstone torch. And for this to work, you need an animated torch 2 blocks above it, so well, you can get under it. The Fork Luminizer does not need to be bound to any other Luminizer. If it does, it will override whatever the redstone torch the animated torch says, and will go to that one. So currently you can see I have it angled to the right to go to that one, along with the torch. So if I right click my Fork Luminizer, I go to the right. Now if I hit this with a mana burst, you can see it switches sides. And if I wait a moment, you can see it already swapped to go to the left. So if I hit this, I go to the left. Let me hit it again, go back to the right, and it'll go to the right. And this will work in a string, so if I just place another one like right there, and I just go bam, activate, and I travel. This is nice if you have items that need to go to a certain area. You can have some sort of detector to activate the mana spreader to hit the torch to make sure it goes in the right direction. The Luminizer Launcher can transport items and other creatures. To craft it, you need 5 Dreamwood and a Luminizer. Now, up until this point, to activate any of these, I had to right click. And well, items and mobs can't right click. So if I go in my inventory, I'll pick up a cow egg and also take this redstone. So if I stand on top of this and I hit this button, I travel along the path. That's because anything on top of this, when a redstone signal hits it, it will travel along your Luminizer path. So if I drop my redstone and hit the button, there goes the redstone. If I drop down our cow and hit the button, there goes the cow. So this is a nice way to transport mobs instead of just having to use leads and run around your base. You can just set up a string of these to move them where you want, maybe from one pen to the other. Or this is how you would use it if you have a sorting system. So if I want to toss down dirt, I can send that along the path. And there we go, we now have it in here. I can have a hopper underneath it and then get funneled into a sorting system. Now you have all you need to continue your journey through Botania. That is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more Minecraft guides and the occasional other video. But thank you for watching and have a good day. Bye.